I'll tell you something. I often talk about making space in our nervous system. What does that even mean? The thing is, when you've had a lot of stress, a lot of trauma in your life, you carry all of this all over your body. Sometimes it's really hard to connect with your body because there is so much sensation and so much feelings in there. Imagine living your whole life here in this space. Many people do that. So what we do to create a space is, first of all, if you're in freeze, the first step is actually bringing back some of the presence to your body because your body is so disconnected. But once you start feeling feelings and sensations, you gotta do it very small, in very small increment. That is called titration. And then once you start feeling the feelings, then you do what is called pendulating. And that is one of the ways in which you create a space. But let me bring one of my friends. He's not really my friend, never met him, but he's definitely one of my teachers to explain it better.
Called the Hoberman sphere. So here's the rhythm of expansion and contraction. Expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. Then trauma comes along. Boom, contraction. Okay, so then you're helping the person experience into the contraction, and then it moves into an expansion. And then again, it starts to contract. And you let the client know, you guide the client so that they're not resisting. So they feel again the contraction, and then again an expansion, and a contraction, and an expansion, and a contraction, and an expansion. And I would say that the basic life feeling is one of expansion.
So here's the thing. Pendulating, what he was demonstrating there, as you can tell, it goes from contraction to expansion. So practically how we do that is we look for a place in our body that feels more comfortable than the feeling we're having. And we move our attention back and forth between the place that feels very uncomfortable and the place that feels comfortable. 5 seconds at a time. 5 seconds in an uncomfortable place. 5 seconds in the comfortable place within our body. It might be your feet, it might be your bum, it might be your back. You look for that comfortable place and then you go back and forth. And as you saw in what he was demonstrating, at the beginning it contracts, but then it opens. And then it contracts, and then it opens. And every time it opens, it just opens just a tiny bit more, just a tiny bit more, just a tiny bit more. And that's how you create a space. Now I want you to know, you don't do this overnight. It's not like one session and you're like, oh, I can feel and have space for all of life. It takes time. You gotta do it slow. And you gotta do it over a period of time. But over time, that's how you create a space.